Good evening and welcome to the Channel studio here in London for your international news around the world in 5. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has appealed for calm after the third consecutive night of rioting in the capital Delhi. 21 people have been killed so far in the deadliest violence the Indian capital has seen in decades. The clashes first broke out on Sunday between protesters for and against a controversial citizenship law. But they have since taken on communal overtones, with reports of people being attacked based on their religion. There have been reports of mobs beating unarmed men, including journalists, and stories of confrontations between Hindus and Muslims. The Delhi High Court, which is hearing petitions about the violence, has said it cannot let another 1984 happen on its watch. In 1984, more than 3,000 Sikhs were killed in anti-Sikh riots in the city. Several European countries have announced their first coronavirus cases, all apparently linked to the growing outbreak in Italy. Austria, Croatia and Switzerland said the cases involve people who had been to Italy, as did Algeria in Africa. The first positive virus test has been recorded in Latin America, a Brazilian resident just returning from Italy. But its neighbours have decided closing borders would be disproportionate. At the Vatican, Pope Francis offered his prayers for the people infected by the coronavirus as Italy struggles to keep the spread of the illness under control. The country has in recent days become Europe's worst affected country, with more than 300 cases and 11 deaths. Once again, I would like to express my closeness to people infected by the coronavirus, to health professionals who are assisting them, as well as to civil authorities and all those who are working to assist patients and to stop the spreading of the virus. The latest Democratic presidential debate has taken place a week ahead of what is known as Super Tuesday, where 14 states go to the polls. And this time it was the front-runner who was verbally attacked from all angles.
This man said that, in fact, he did not condemn.
Having won several caucuses already, Bernie Sanders received particular criticism from rivals over his stance on the economy. The debate in Charleston was the final one before South Carolina votes on Saturday, followed by 14 other states next Tuesday.
At the end of the day, there is a reason why we are beating Trump in poll after poll after poll nationally. There's a reason why we are beating him in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania. And I think that reason is that the working people understand that we cannot continue to have a government that works for the wealthy and the powerful.
Malaysia's Mahathir Mohamad has called for a unity government without political parties after his shock resignation as Prime Minister sparked turmoil. In a televised address, the world's oldest head of government proposed an independent government not aligned with any party, but only prioritised the interests of the country. He resigned on Monday, but was immediately named by the King as interim Prime Minister. In his first address since then, Mahathir apologised for the turmoil, but said he was ready to return as Prime Minister full-time if he had support. A military funeral has been held in Egypt's capital, Cairo, for the former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak, who died on Tuesday at the age of 91. The ceremony in the Tantawi Mosque was followed by a private burial in the family grave at a cemetery in eastern Cairo. Authorities have declared 3 days of national mourning. Mr. Mubarak was forced out of office in 2011 by mass protests, 30 years after becoming president following the assassination of Anwar el-Sadat. The UN has made an appeal for more funds to tackle the unprecedented invasions of locusts threatening crops in parts of Africa and Asia. The group's Food and Agriculture Organization says a food crisis could be looming in East Africa if more resources are not forthcoming, and has appealed to donors for an additional $62 million. In the 3 of the worst affected countries, Kenya, Ethiopia and Somalia, it's estimated that at least 100,000 hectares in each country needs to be sprayed with insecticide. The UN says the money is needed to help these countries control locusts by spraying on the ground or from the air, and to improve cross-border coordination. And finally, London's Leadenhall Market has hosted its annual Pancake Day race, where teams raced while flipping the fried crepes to mark Shrove Tuesday. The famous race involves competitors running back and forth along a 20-metre stretch while flipping a pancake at least 3 times per length. The winning team, named Chafing the Dream, were awarded the coveted engraved frying pan for their success in the tournament. Shrove Tuesday, commonly known as Pancake Day, precedes Ash Wednesday and is the first day of the season of Lent. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the studios in Nigeria.